crypto bros make money literally by making money, and they've made over $1 trillion out of thin air. They'll accuse the U.S. government of making money out of thin air. Maybe we do, but we're the U.S. government.
Second, a large part of my time in 2025 will also be devoted to the political process. I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time working with lawmakers in Washington, D.C., and quite a bit of time working with members of the administration to help foster and facilitate with other key leaders in industry the crypto policy. We have to do this and we have to get it done. There's a very high probability that the Republicans will control not only the Senate and the presidency, but also the Congress, the House. And in the process of doing so, this is the best opportunity we have ever had in the history of the industry to get clarity for our industry and remove the sort of Damocles that the SEC has reigned over the Cardano ecosystem, Ripple ecosystem, the Ethereum ecosystem, reigned over Solana, reigned over all the major ecosystems, and actually including Bitcoin in many respects, despite the ETF approvals. None of us signed up to have companies like BlackRock dictate to the United States what the crypto policy should be. The crypto policy should be written by the American people, the American crypto industry, and by well-meaning lawmakers who are willing to take the time to listen. So we will establish at Input Output a policy office, and we're going to begin staffing that office, moving some personnel around, and hopefully by January we can begin to participate in that process and work with certain key leaders in certain key positions and get to a point where we can hybridize many of the proposals, including FIT 21, including the Lummis bill, the FIA, and other such things, so that we can get a bipartisan bill passed that will give us absolute clarity of when things are securities and commodities, help us navigate the often tumultuous and chaotic waters of DeFi, and get us to a point where we can get back to business. No one in this industry has asked for a subsidy or a bailout. No one in this industry has asked for special rules or special treatment. All we've asked is to be left alone and be able to build our businesses and create trillions of dollars of value and millions of jobs for the American people. I think with a message like that, it makes absolutely no sense to those who aren't corrupt and those who are listening to actually get a law passed.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we've been printing money out of thin air, and we know fiat has never survived. Now they're going to be moving us over to a video game. And knowledge, just like the last system, will be the key. Remember, my people perish from the lack of knowledge because they reject it. Not because it's not there, because they reject it. And we have Cardano's Charles Hoskinson says that he'll be working with the next administration with Trump, pushing crypto regulation. And never forget, these digital assets, crypto, was sold on getting rid of the politicians and the banks. And now we have the banks and the politicians pushing crypto. This was a genius idea from the central banks. And the big banks and big corporations were funding crypto from the beginning. And we have the EU MiCA rules go into effect December 30th. And that is definitely going to affect Tether. It's going to bring a whole lot of volatility. And then on top of it, the first quarter of next year, we have BlackRock's Bitcoin options. So it's definitely going to be a wild ride the first few months. And we have Trump stepping into place as the new president and the new administration. Now we have the BRICS. Ethiopia is joining the BRICS, of course, moving towards China. But no one's talking about Belt and Road. But these BRICS nations are getting off the dollar. And the emerging markets in the Middle East will be trading in their own currencies, making us be on a level playing field. And Trump's job is to devalue the dollar, getting us off this world reserve currency. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, Now we have Bailey from the Bank of England speaks on trade war and being in a fragmented world. Like Klaus stated, we're getting rid of this legacy market and moving over to the fourth industrial revolution, the intelligent fourth industrial revolution, where they're destroying everything in this legacy market. And anytime they destroy it, they always say AI is the fix. Whether robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
With Ethiopia now in the BRICS, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, it's the second sub-Saharan African nation to join the group after South Africa was admitted about 14 years ago, and BRICS is almost 2 decades old. The entry certainly is a recognition of Ethiopia's muscle in the region. It is East Africa's biggest economy and the continent's most populous country after Nigeria. Certainly more people than even Egypt, which also joined BRICS. As you know, BRIC member nations have very little in common and have struggled to shape, to form or mold a cohesive identity. Some view it as an alternative to the current global order, gravitating towards Beijing, a counterbalance of sorts to Western power as embodied by the G7, the group of 7. The main appeal for Ethiopia to join BRICS could be the possibility of having an alternative financial architecture separate to the US dollar. The bloc has created 2 new multilateral institutions, the New Development Bank or BRICS Bank, and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, a rival of sorts to the World Bank and the IMF. Another attraction is China. It's a large trading partner and presents a huge market, and being in the bloc guarantees some face time with China's political and business leaders during summits. That's certainly a draw for Ethiopia. So for this country, so for Ethiopia, which is reforming its economy to attract even more investment, this could be the main draws for it.
And Helen, I mean, our Bloomberg intelligence team has found that BRICS could be double the size of G7 economies in 2030. That is a big picture. When we look at the region, though, where Ethiopia is sitting, East Africa region, what could their involvement potentially mean for them?
Yeah, well, some may dismiss, the BRICS, the expanded BRICS, as an inconsequential entity. It is gaining momentum and it's drawing more members. 40 nations want to join. 2024 have already formally applied. And Ethiopia's entry certainly gives Africa a voice at that table, in addition to South Africa's. The expanded BRICS, as Etienne said, represents about 45% of the world's population, 30% of global crude output. And that orientation towards the global south is a signal for African nations that have always felt excluded from the current international order and are becoming more vocal about a move towards multilateralism. So Ethiopia's entry is a signal.
I know you're very reluctant to talk, what possible trade wars or tariffs from the U.S. would look like on the economy, but would they be inflationary or would they reduce growth?
Well, I mean, we don't know the answer to that question. I think, what I will say is, look, the UK is a very open economy. So obviously this area matters. The Chancellor has said yesterday and today quite rightly, and I will join her in this, that she will make the case for open markets and free trade. And I will strongly support her in this because I'm a very strong supporter of free trade. I think you would expect the UK to do that. We have a very proud history of free trade in this country. We will no doubt, say our piece and make our case. But we'll see. I think it's important just to say, look, let the new US administration get into office. We will work with them. I've worked with a lot of US administrators over my career. We will work with the next US administration just as we do with the current one and we did with the previous Trump administration. By the way, I expect constructive relations and we will have a good dialogue.
But are you expecting a more fragmented world, and what does that mean for central bank policy?
Well, I mean, I worry about a more fragmented world in a more general sense. I'm not saying this is entirely due to the US administration, because it clearly isn't. There's a lot of things going on in the world which are A, very tragic, and B, are a risk to the fragmentation of the world economy. And the fragmentation of the world economy is not a good thing, clearly.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Sonali Basak. Sonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.